After work, my wife hugged me and froze, pointing at my shirt. "What is this?" I went pale, then saw it too. 12 days later, my mother watched the video and started screaming. I didn't think anything of that day. It was a normal Tuesday. Same commute, same traffic, same stop for bad coffee near the office. I came home tired, dropped my bag by the door, and my wife did what she always does, walked over and hugged me. Then she stiffened. She pulled back just enough to look at my chest, her hands still on my sides. Her face changed in a way I'd never seen before. Not angry. Not sad. Just alarmed. "What is this?" she asked. She pointed at my shirt. Right over my left chest pocket was a faint, smeared mark. Not huge. About the size of a coin. Darker than the fabric, like it had soaked in. At first I laughed and said, "Probably sauce. The cafeteria had pasta." She didn't laugh. "That's not sauce," she said quietly. I looked down. My stomach dropped. It wasn't food. It wasn't grease. It was a dull, brownish-red stain that had dried into the fibers. The edges were uneven, like it had been wiped in a hurry. I suddenly realized I had no memory of getting it there. I went cold. The room felt smaller. I don't know," I said. And that was the truth, which somehow made it worse. She stepped back, arms crossed. "Did you change after work?" "No." "Did anyone get hurt today?" "What?" "No. Of course not." She stared at me for a long moment, then said, "Go take that off. Don't wash it. Just, take it off." Her voice wasn't accusing. It was careful. Like she was talking to someone dangerous without knowing if they were. I did what she said. That night, we barely spoke. She slept facing the wall. I lay awake replaying my day minute by minute, meetings, emails, the elevator ride, the walk to my car. Nothing unusual. No accidents. No fights. No blood. The next morning, the shirt was gone. She said she'd put it away. Over the next few days, things felt off. She watched me more closely. Asked where I was going. Who I'd talked to. Whether I'd taken any detours home. I started questioning myself. Maybe I'd bumped into someone. Maybe I'd helped a coworker with a cut and forgotten. On the 4th day, she told me she'd taken the shirt to a cleaner to see if they could identify the stain. That didn't sit right with me, but I didn't argue. I was just relieved she was talking again. What I didn't know, what she didn't tell me until much later, was that she'd done something else first. She'd laid the shirt flat on the table, turned on her phone camera, and recorded herself inspecting it. Zooming in. Touching the fabric with gloves. Whispering observations to herself like she was afraid the shirt might hear her. 12 days after that night, I was sitting in my parents' living room when my wife handed her phone to my mother. "Please watch this," she said. My mom smiled at first, like she thought it was a family video. Then the color drained from her face. Halfway through, she started shaking her head, whispering, "No, no, no." When it ended, she screamed. Not a word, just a raw, terrified sound, and threw the phone across the room. That was the moment I realized whatever was on that shirt. It wasn't just about me. My father jumped up, yelling my mother's name, but she was already backing away from us, her hands shaking like she'd touched something burning. "Turn it off," she screamed. "Why would you show me that? Why would you bring this here?" My wife didn't move. Her voice was steady, but pale. "Because you recognized it." Silence slammed into the room. I looked between them. "Recognized what?" I asked. My own voice sounded far away, like it wasn't coming from me. My mother stared at my shirtless chest like the stain was still there. "That mark," she whispered. "The way it spread. The color after it dries." My dad snapped, "Enough. You're upsetting him." "No," my wife said. "He deserves to know." She turned to me. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I do," she replied. "Because the test didn't just identify blood. It identified whose." I felt something crack open in my chest. "Then say it." She hesitated. "Just long enough. It matches a partial profile from an old missing persons case," she said. "From 20 years ago." My mother screamed again. This time she said my name. I spun to her. Mom, what is she talking about? She covered her face. I told your father we should never have come here. I told him this would happen. My dad grabbed her shoulders. Stop it. She shook him off. He has the mark. What mark? I shouted. My wife swallowed. There was a witness back then. A child. They said the man who took her had blood on his shirt. Over the left pocket. Same size. Same smear. Like he wiped his hand there without thinking. The room went dead quiet. I laughed once. Sharp. Uncontrolled. So what, you think I'm the same person? That I did something 20 years ago when I was a kid? No, my wife said softly. I think you were there. My mother slid off the couch onto her knees. I begged you to forget, she cried. You were so small. You don't remember. They said you wouldn't. My vision blurred. Remember what? She looked up at me, eyes red, ruined. The day you came home without your shirt, she whispered. And we burned it in the sink. I felt my legs give out. My wife pressed play on another video. This one was old. Grainy. Security footage. A parking lot. A struggling woman. And, standing off to the side, a little boy. Wearing my face. I don't remember screaming, but my throat burned like I had. That's not me, I kept saying. Over and over. Like repetition could make it true. That's not me. The boy on the screen was maybe 7 or 8. Too small. Too still. Standing near a concrete pillar, hands at his sides, watching. Watching. My wife paused the video. You see how he doesn't move? She asked quietly. No panic. No confusion. Just waiting. My father lunged for the phone. Turn that off. She didn't flinch. You already lost the right to decide what gets hidden. My mother crawled toward me on her knees. You were sick that winter, she sobbed. High fever. You sleepwalked. You talked to people who weren't there. I shook my head so hard my neck hurt. You're saying I did this? No, she cried. I'm saying you saw it. The room rang. My wife looked at her. You told the police you were out of town that week. My mother nodded weakly. We were. Until we weren't. My father finally spoke, his voice low and flat. There was a man. A neighbor. He watched him sometimes when we worked late. My stomach twisted. You left me with him? He was kind, my father snapped. He had kids of his own. My wife resumed the video. The footage jumped. Another angle. The same lot. The man dragging the woman toward a van. And then, something that made my blood turn to ice. The man bent down. Spoke to the boy. Smiled. The boy nodded. My mother screamed again. Don't show that part. My wife paused it anyway. The witness statement mentioned a child, she said. But the police assumed it was the kidnapper's son. What about the stain? I asked. Why now? My wife swallowed. Because trauma doesn't disappear. It waits. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away, but I didn't squeeze back. There's more, she said. The lab found recent blood mixed with the old trace. On the shirt you wore home. The room went silent. I looked at her slowly. Recent? How recent? Within 24 hours. My mother covered her mouth. No. That's not possible. I stood up so fast the chair fell backward. I was at work, I said. All day. My wife nodded. I know. Which means someone else put it there. My father looked up sharply. Or someone remembered. The words hit harder than anything else. That night, I didn't sleep, because for the first time in my life, I dreamed of a parking lot, and this time. I wasn't standing still. I woke up screaming. Not the kind where you gasp and sit up. The kind where your body is already standing before your mind catches up. I was in the hallway, hands pressed flat against the wall, heart trying to tear its way out of my chest. In the dream, I hadn't just seen the parking lot. I'd felt it. The heat rising off the asphalt. The smell of oil. The man's hand on my shoulder, heavy but gentle, steering me like I was something useful. Stand here, he'd said. If anyone comes, tell me. I threw up in the sink. By morning, my wife was sitting at the kitchen table, fully dressed, keys beside her phone. I called my friend at the lab, she said softly. The one who ran the tests. I didn't sit. Tell me. The recent blood on your shirt, she said, belongs to the same person as the old trace. My ears rang. That's not possible. She's never confirmed dead, my wife said. Just missing. The air went cold. She's alive? I whispered. She was, my wife replied. As of 2 weeks ago. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. A man spoke, calm and familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. You took longer than I expected. My wife's eyes snapped to me. I told your parents we'd meet again, the voice continued. Did they never explain why they moved you so far away? My knees buckled into the chair. You put the blood on my shirt, I said. A soft chuckle. No. You did. The memories hit all at once, too fast, too sharp. A door opening. A woman crying. My small hands sticky and shaking. Being told to wipe them on my shirt because it was easier. You were very helpful, the man said. Even then. My wife grabbed the phone. Who is this? He laughed. Someone finishing what your family tried to bury. The line went dead. Sirens wailed in the distance, close. Too close to be coincidence. My wife was already crying. The police are on their way. I gave them everything. The videos. The lab results. The call logs. I nodded slowly. I'll tell them everything, I said. Every memory. Every dream. She hesitated. They're going to ask why the blood is recent. I closed my eyes. Because last night, I said, I finally remembered where he keeps her. The knock at the door wasn't gentle. As they led me away, my mother's scream echoed from my childhood home, again, too late. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't standing still anymore. If this story kept you hooked, give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more.